Hey guys, and welcome to another Junior Sunday Snack. My name is Michael, and we've got a whole bunch of Lego and also some bread with us today. Now for you guys, what we've got today is I've got a question. You guys ready? The question is, what is the main thing that church is all about? What's the main thing that church is all about? And so that's the question. First I'm going to tell you a story, and then we're going to come back to the question, and then we're going to think about what this means for us. Okay, here's the story. So we've got Jesus, and last week we saw that Jesus was growing the church. More and more people were believing in Jesus. And now we're in Acts chapter 6, and we see that there's a problem. There's a problem in the church. And the problem was all about food. Here I've got some bread, some yummy bread that I actually baked. And the problem was that some people weren't getting food. Now the church loves people and looks after people, and even back then they were doing this. And so there were people who didn't have any money. There were women whose husbands had died and they were all alone, and so they needed the church to give them some food so that they could keep on surviving. But the church was forgetting about them. They were giving out the food to those people, and then they would forget about this group of women. It was very sad. So they came to the church, the people in charge, and that was the 12 disciples. You've heard of them? Jesus' 12 best friends. So there's one, and I've got another one here. There we go. And they were busy preaching about Jesus and praying. And these ladies came saying, we're not getting given the food. We're not getting given the food. Something's going wrong and we're not getting the food. And so what are the leaders of the church going to do? What are they going to do? What is the main thing the church is all about? What did these guys say? Well, they said, we love you, we want to look after you, but it's not right for us to be distracted from preaching and praying. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose some strong, godly men. We're going to choose some godly men, and they are going to look after the food. So they chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They chose 7 men, and they were going to be in charge of the food and the handing out of the food to make sure that everybody in the church who needed food got the food. And that's what the leaders of the church decided to do. And that was a good thing. We know it was a good thing because after they did that, do you know what happened? Jesus kept his promise to grow the church, and a whole bunch more people believed in Jesus. It was wonderful. So that's what happened in Acts chapter 6. There were some people who weren't getting food, and the apostles gave some other men the job of handing out the food so that everybody in the church was looked after. But the main thing of preaching and praying stayed the main thing. Now, that's what happened in the story today. Now the question, what was the question at the beginning? Who remembers what the question was? The question was, what is the main thing that the church is supposed to do? What's the main thing the church is supposed to do? Is it to preach, or is it to look after people and to love people and look after them? Well, in this passage, we see that Jesus wants us to do both. He wants us to preach about him and pray and tell everybody about him so that the church can grow. But Jesus also wants us to love each other in the church and look after each other. But the main thing is the preaching. So that must come first. That must come first, and then we help each other in the church. That's what we see in Acts chapter 6. So now, what I want you guys to do as a family is remember those 3 people whose names you wrote down last week that you were going to try to tell about Jesus as much as you can. I want you to talk about how's that going. Have you been praying for those people? And then also you can talk about what is the main thing that church is all about? What is the main thing that the church is supposed to do? You can talk about that question together. Awesome, guys. That's all from me and from my Lego and from my bread. And remember, my name's Michael, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday for Wacky Wednesday. And if you want to, you can click over here and you'll see some more Sunday snacks. And you can click over here if you want to see some Wacky Wednesdays. Awesome, guys. Bye for now.